Hi guys, Dr. Snowden here. In this video, I'm going to give you a very brief introduction to coding on the spike in Python. Okay, so I'm going to start here in the app. When I select new project, I'm going to boldly choose Python instead of word blocks. When I open create, you can see that what's uploaded here is a very flexible template for coding in Python. If you've never coded in Python, there are some online courses that can introduce you to the basic syntax of Python that are pretty quick. That might be a nice place to start rather than starting directly with programming on the robot. But if you're bold, you can go ahead and program on the robot as well. But what do you see here? Well, you're seeing calls up here that say from, spike, import, all these different lists of words. Basically, what we're doing is we are importing tools or functions from what are called Python libraries. Libraries are like toolboxes that are meant for specific purposes. So Python is very flexible. People use it to analyze words and images and numbers. So you actually have to bring in the tools that you need for exactly what you want to do with Python. In this case, we want to move this robot. Lego was nice enough to write a bunch of functions for the robot, and they stored them in these particular toolboxes or libraries. But I have to bring them into the program and let the program know that those are the toolboxes that I want to use. So all of them are stored, say, in a big box called Spike. And then I say from Spike, I want to import these particular toolboxes. As I'll show, each one of these toolboxes does have some individual functions or tools associated with it that you can use in your code. You might find that you don't need to import all of these at the top. You might not use all of them, but it doesn't hurt to import them for now. This last one, by the way, is a more general one. It's just a general math one that you can import that lots of people use with Python. This first one, what this does is it actually gives a name to your hub. So you can change the name of your hub. Here it's just called hub, but you can call it whatever you like. And then when you use the name of the hub and you apply particular functions, here it's calling on light matrix, show image, happy. You can see the program basically knows you want it to be sent to this particular hub, which is the one that you are connected to. So let's go ahead and just play this example program. I'm going to get rid of this here and see what it does. Nope, it's upside down. You can see what it did is it actually gave a particular light matrix show. It showed a smiley face on your hub. Okay, so I can go over here to this menu on the right-hand side, and I can actually better understand why that happened. Okay, so this is a particular library called light matrix that we just pulled a function from called show image. I can look under my getting started here, and I can click on light matrix. And when I click on it, it expands and it shows some different actions or functions you could call. Here's the one that was called show image. And when I click on it, again, this is real coding, so you have a lot of different information here, but it shows you how to use this particular library. So basically what it does here is it gives you different values that you can put in here. So let's try a different one. How about we try, this one looks interesting, roller skate. So now instead of saying happy, I'm going to type in here roller skate, and I have no idea what that's going to do, but we'll see. Okay. And down here, by the way, you can see some examples. So this shows everything that you need to use this particular library. So you can see from Spike, I have to import the prime hub. I already did this in the main program. And then from Spike control to run this particular program or this example here, I have to import wait for seconds. Okay, so we won't run this particular example. This does something different than roller skate, but let's go ahead and run roller skate and see what happens. Now, looks like I get a little roller skate image on my hub. So that's their basic example. I can, if I want to learn how to do things with Python, okay, there is a help guide here, again, in the knowledge base, okay, and you can start from the very basics of writing a Python program. Now, again, this is a little bit of reading to get through, but it is important things to know when you're writing Python. not just for the robot, but for any application. And again, it describes importing libraries, which I described in the beginning. It tells you how to write comments or lines of code that kind of don't get executed, but tell the user what the code is doing. Indenting is really important in Python. So that's important to understand. I'll give you some examples in a future video, but indenting is how basically Python knows whether code is inside of a function or a command or outside. So the knowledge base, again, you can go through step by step and learn by reading this how you can do different types of things with Python on your hub. Okay. And it starts pretty basic and gets more complicated until part 8. And now you're doing what you might do for an Artemis challenge. And that's actually move the hub forward and back and churn and things like that. So if you want to get started with Python, I recommend you go through each one of these and learn what you can do with Python. Don't be shy. It's not as hard as it looks. And see if you can figure out how to program your hub. Of course, the only downside is you can misspell words and you can type things incorrectly. If you do that, for example, if I don't know, put a C here instead of an X, your code will not run, okay? It doesn't know what that means. It doesn't know what light matrix is, okay? That's what the word blocks give you. You can't spell things wrong in the word blocks. Notice down here, I get an error in the console, and you can tell that maybe it doesn't recognize, maybe there's a misspelling because it says it has no attribute light matrix. Basically, it looked inside this library, it didn't find that tool. Okay, so if you have a little bit of programming experience or you're really good with word blocks and you're ready to do something harder, I recommend trying out this particular knowledge base for Python.